Hello everyone. The purpose of this video is to take a review look at the guidelines for Oral Presentation 1, Formal Presentation 1. And we've already looked at that, and you have selected a topic at this point. And then we'll look at the other assignments for the week of September 28th. This is a Williston class deadlines that I have up here for this video. And the Randolph deadlines are a little different, but the assignments are exactly the same. So, first thing, our topic this week is visual communication and making a positive impression. So the big 55% chunk of our interpersonal communication is visual. So when we look at the research for topics, we'll see that they have all got to do with visual communication and how we communicate by the way we look. There are 5 topics, and the rules are the same as they have been, so no need to go over those anymore. I've been giving you feedback whenever you have turned in an assignment, so there shouldn't be any question about how to do these, so we won't spend any time on this. The reflection 4 assignment will accompany these reflection files that I have put here on the Canvas site for you. So if we look at this, this is similar to what you have done in other assignments, but it does have one piece that's a little different. So you're going to look at each of the reflection files, talk about a couple of things from each of the files that you didn't know, and then 4 to 6 sentences to answer some of these questions. But here in paragraph 3 is the different part, and this doesn't have anything to do with the reflection files or really anything to do with the topic of the week. I'm asking you if you would be so kind as to give me 4 or 5 sentences of feedback about how you think the class is going thus far. Quite an unusual semester and different than any of us anticipated. But what do you think has gone well? What do you think could be better? Do you think the amount of homework is too little? Probably nobody's going to say that. Too much? How do you think the Zoom class is going? Is the Zoom class comfortable for you? Do you like it as well as, better than a face-to-face class? Do you hate it? Just any information that you could give me here will be useful for me. So that is the reflection assignment. And now, when we look at the application assignment, here's where we're going to need to remind ourselves about the guidelines for the first formal presentation. So they're up here for you in the resource section. So here are the guidelines, and here are sample slides. But I have these opened up on my computer, so we'll look at this. And you have already selected your topic, so we don't need to look at this first page. And all we really need to remind ourselves about here is that we're looking at a 4 to 5 minute timeline for your presentation, 30 seconds in each direction. So, 4.5 to 5.5 minutes. 4.5, and once you get to 5 minutes, if you haven't finished, then I may ask you to stop, so we'll have enough time for everybody to present. You're going to use PowerPoint. Again, you're not going to use Google Slides or any of that sort of thing. And here's what we're going to be doing. So if we now move back here and open this, we'll see that it says exactly that. So you're going to create, first of all, 4 slides. These are your introductory slides. And we've talked about this, and I gave you a lot of information about this in the first week when we talked about oral presentation topics. You might want to go back and review my slides, my reflection files, where I gave you information about slides. So you're going to have a title slide. You're going to have a beginning hook. We talked about the sorts of things that are good for hooks, statistics, quotes, those sorts of things. You're going to have an objective. What do you want the audience to do as a result of your presentation? And then you're going to have an objective. What are you going to cover? What primary topics are you going to cover? So those are your introduction slides. Then you're going to have 7 or 8 content slides, and the number that you're going to have is dependent on how you're going to use the slides, but typically for this time frame it should be 7 or 8 slides of your content itself, and we'll look at some samples in a minute. And then you're going to have 4 slides at the end. One is a summary slide, so a takeaway of what the most important things you want the audience to remember, an end hook. And remember, if possible, it's nice to match the end hook to the beginning hook. So if you use quotes, use quotes. If you use statistics, that sort of thing. And then 2 blank slides at the end. Just 2 of your template slides, your design slides with nothing on them. The reason we do that is so when we finish, we don't make another click and click out just to a blank screen. So if you do make an extra click, you'll just have a blank slide. So that's the kind and the number of slides that you're going to create. And then we'll look here at an example of what these might be like. So here are some samples of title slides. So you want your title slide to catch the audience's attention. So you want to make a nice title slide. Don't just have something that's got a title and your name on it. So you want to have graphics that'll obviously relate to your topic and will be eye-catching and engaging to the audience, the title of your presentation, and then your first and last name. So there's one example. Here's another example. And again, you'll see it has the title of the presentation, at least a strong graphic, and your first and last name. So we'll keep going down here. Now these are examples of objective slides. So the goal of today's session, or it says objective. You're writing these in the what do you want the audience to do? Is another goal of the presentation. So in 1 or 2 sentences, the perspective of what you want the audience to do and some kind of a design element. So that's the objective slide. Example of agenda slides. I didn't give you examples of hook slides because hook slides obviously depend entirely on the topic. So examples of agenda slides. This is a nice agenda slide that used some smart art. Here's an agenda slide that used just pictures here. So again, pictures, primary topics you plan to include. Conclusion slides. Again, you can say conclusion, you can say summary, or you can give a little bit more information here. Please remember, here's in conclusion. But see how these slides have all got a nice picture and a nice design on them. Here's another one, key points to take away. So does each slide have text and images and highlight the key things from your presentation? Now we'll look at content slides. Now remember when we were talking about the semester project, we said the semester project slides had a lot of text and not many pictures. This is exactly the opposite. Your mouth tells the story with words. Your slides tell the story with pictures. So your slides are going to have just enough content, just enough text to keep you and the audience on track for what you're doing. So just a little bit of information, and the rest you will say with your mouth. Because if your slide is full of words, the audience will read the words either along with you or they'll read them ahead of you, or you will read directly from the slides. None of those are good things. So don't tempt yourself to do that. Don't tempt the audience to do that by putting too much text on your slides. Here's another one that has very little text on it, but the presenter is going to support the pictures with his or her mouth. Another one. These are nice combinations of telling the story with pictures, and your mouth tells the story with words. So that's what we're looking for presentation slides. Very different from your semester project slides. So in this case, you're going to be submitting a PowerPoint file, a Microsoft PowerPoint file, not some link to Google Docs or Google Slides or any of that sort of thing. Microsoft Office PowerPoint slides. And this shows you the slides that you will be presenting. And I'll give you feedback on these, and then you'll have another chance to submit the final slides for your presentation. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask the questions. Send me an email message.